Hello everyone and welcome. This is General History and this is part 9 of our Ultimate General Civil War playthrough. God, we're already at episode 9 and we're only at Shiloh. There's still a lot of war left to play. But we are picking off where we left off at the Battle of Shiloh. We are pushing the the Union back, but we are now starting to get counterattacked by Lew Wallace and Bull Halsey's division. I think I keep saying Bull Halsey, but it's Bull Nelson. I'm thinking World War II right now. Bull Nelson's divisions, as we are trying to hold on to Pittsburgh Landing. We only have about 30 minutes left, which is only about, I believe, 6 minutes in real time. So we don't have too much longer to hold on. But as you can see, we do have quite a bit of enemy infantry moving in on our positions. Now we do have a pretty strong footing, mostly held by the 2nd Corps. I don't really have too many of my own men up here just yet. I do have like the old 1st and bloody 8th, but that's really it, and of course my player as well. Trying to get some men moving against this large group of Union forces. I do have some more of the 1st Division of the 2nd Corps coming up. I believe that would be Bragg's divisions. Oh shoot. Tuttle is coming up on my rear. I had pretty much crushed McClernand and Sherman's divisions that held the Union right. All my cavalry is down here in the south. We'll move them. Go ahead and move them north. Sort of just going ahead and trying to move most of my forces to the north. I think I'm going to hold on. Now there is through these pushing us. We are in a bit of assailant and the Union is pushing, but they only have 20 more minutes. I'm assuming this is going to be the last sort of. Oh, they actually have forces coming up on our rear. Aladdin pushed him back, so he'll turn and face Lawman's brigade. Go ahead and have Bloody 8 skirmishers return. But like I said, we are in a bit of a salient here, but I think we can hold on for 16 more minutes. Game minutes, that is, real-time minutes, that's probably about maybe a minute or two. It's about 6 seconds of real time is about 1 minute in the game, so yeah, it's about a minute or two. And we still have to hold on. Like I said, I'm assuming this battle's going to end when that timer is up. I don't know if there will be a second part. We are at about 5, almost 6 o'clock in the afternoon here. Oh, about 7 o'clock, sorry. Got my military time a little mixed up there. So I've got 7 more minutes to hold. I think I'm going to hold. I don't think they're going to have enough to push, because even if they push, I do have units down here attacking their rear. They're definitely not going to push out my forces out of this woods in time, nor these northern woods. So although I'm in a bit of a salient, it looks like I'm going to hold on here. I hope there's not another part of this, because most of my forces are almost out of ammo, and I don't want this going to a second day once the rest of Buell's army arrives. Hopefully this will be the end. Please let this be the end. Timer's up. What are we doing? Okay, it looks like we can finish this fight, and there we go. Victory at Shiloh. I did what the Confederates couldn't do. Kept up the pressure, and we've finished. And there we go. Alright, so let's look at the statistics for the battle. Union had about 47,000 troops, when you think that Buell's forces never really arrived except for Bull Nelson. That is about what the Union had, and I had a little less infantry than what I would have had in the battle, or what the Confederates really would have had in the battle. Now, when it comes to casualties, we're pretty much spot on because it was believed the Confederates lost about 1,100 infantry, so really we're pretty much spot on. And now the Union casualties are much higher, about 10,000 higher than they actually would have taken. So we were able to complete all of these, lose less than 75% of your army. That was one of the objectives. Held everything for this for the draw conditions. Stonewall Brigade was my best brigade in this battle, getting 6-1 casualties, 4-1 for the Bloody Eighth. Let's see, 5-1 for the Innocence Brigade. Yeah, pretty good statistics. Let's see who we lost. We lost Pogue. I think that was actually part of the Second Corps, though. A lot of promotions. I can't remember exactly who are mine. I know Kemper is mine. I think Preston is mine as well. I don't know if Breath is mine. Gladden is not one of mine. We did lose Preston Pond, which I believe was part of that Bragg's Corps. Daniel Ruggles was wounded, which I know is part of Bragg's Corps. So let's look at the goods that we received. Some Sharps. We rescued 3 and captured 5 Napoleons. A lot of the Colt 1855s, a lot of Springfields, over 8,000 Springfields recovered, almost 9,000 Springfields. Captured 8 12-pound howitzers, 36 Hunters were recovered, some MJ&G, I mean. We rescued some of our 6-pounders. A small portion of our Mississippis, that's going to be the hardest one to replace. Some Reboard and some Koch and Brothers. So before we exit, we're going to talk about what actually happened on the final day. Now, really, there's not really too much interesting stuff to talk about. Now, obviously, Buell arrived, and really, it just says how the Confederates had surprised the Union on the first day. The Union then surprised the Confederates on the second day by launching an all-out attack down the lines. With fresh forces supplied by Buell. Now, I can't remember if I talked about in the last episode how Beauregard was actually warned of Buell's crossing by Nathaniel Forrest, but Beauregard, sort of shrugged those off, just as Sherman had shrugged off the advancing Confederate troops when he was warned about it. They attacked at dawn and pushed, pretty much almost in a straight line, pushed the Confederates back. Now, the Confederates were able to eventually organize and started and regrouped. I can't move the map, so I'm sorry. But if you look at the mini-map, I don't know how well you guys can see it. Regrouped at the Hamburg-Purdy Road, which would have been right about in this area, if I believe. Like I said, I don't know if you can see it as well as I can. Now, the rebels did launch some counterattacks trying to control the Corinth Road later in the day, but those were eventually pushed back. Union was pushed back originally, but again, they just overwhelmed the Confederate forces. And then after a final Confederate flank attack, a final Confederate attack was flanked, Beauregard, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, finally succeeded from the battle and withdrawed his troops to Corinth. Now, Buell originally started pushing his forces in advance, but again, just as the Confederates the first day were sort of disorganized after the battle, the Union sort of suffered the same in the same regard as Buell, and the fact that they didn't really have cavalry units at the time. It was very difficult for the Union to pursue the retreating Confederates. Now, the Confederates would eventually get to Corinth, where sorry, I'm getting my commanders mixed up. Beauregard would actually then do a very good sleight of hand as he retreated from Corinth, knowing that he didn't have the forces to defend against the large Union force that had assembled. He had a sleight of hand where it made it seem like the Confederates were shipping in troops when actually they were removing troops from the field. Grant, apparently, who at this point was actually appointed to Halleck's second in command, which actually was a demotion. We'll get into that in a minute. Told Halleck that, or believed, and tried to press Halleck to attack as the Confederates were retreating. Halleck believed, as I said, he was being cautious and believed that the Confederates were bringing in troops, so he refused to attack until all the Confederates had left. Now, this avoided a major battle, but at the time, the Union could have struck a significant blow and pretty much destroyed the entire Army of the Mississippi, of the Confederates Army of the Mississippi. Now, like I said, the aftermath of the battle, Grant was very much vilified. There were concerns that he was drunk during the battle, that people pointed out that they were unprepared. Like I said, they believed he was drunk during the battle. This was false. There became this idea that men were bayoneted as they slept in their tents, which again also was incorrect. So this is our battle rewards. Got 2 career points, reputation plus 10, almost $170,000 and almost 1,500 men. We got Albert Sidney Johnson, who survived the battle apparently, and it looks like we actually got Forces Division as well, plus 1 Army Corps, and we got some prisoners. So yeah, Grant became the villain. He was hailed as the hero before. Now he's the villain. There were calls to Lincoln to remove him from command. Lincoln, of course, famously said, "I cannot spare this man. He fights." But again, he was sidelined by Halleck by technically getting a promotion, which was actually a demotion, as he was pretty much taken out of command by being Halleck's second. Nowadays, his command of the battle is much more favorably looked at. Like I said, he did have faults in the battle. He didn't properly prepare his defenses. Now, on the Confederate side, obviously they lost Corinth, which was a major blow. They lost a massive battle, which really, a lot of people point to Gettysburg or even Vicksburg as being the turning point of the war. I personally believe Shiloh, although probably too early in the war to be called the turning point. I don't know, I kind of actually believe Shiloh to be the turning point of the war. Now, it definitely showed the huge cost that both sides were going to have to pay for this war. But also, what it did is it made it so the Confederacy was never able to recover in the West. They were never able to really push back against the Union ever again in the West. So really, and the West is where the war was won. And so really, in my opinion, you could truly look at Shiloh as being the major turning point of the war. Like I said, and not only that, but the Confederacy lost Albert Sidney Johnson, who was really, before Lee actually took command during the 7 Days Battle of forces in the East, Sidney Johnson was really looked at as being the premier general of the Army. Now, one other thing to mention coming out of the battle was Lew Wallace. Now, Lew Wallace originally wasn't condemned by Grant during the battle for his performance, but Grant definitely condemned Wallace after the battle, and Wallace's career would then suffer, and he wouldn't actually be really a part of the war into the defense of Washington at the Battle of Monterey, where Wallace's troops, although forced to eventually retreat, held off the Confederate forces under Jubal Early long enough for reinforcements from the siege of Petersburg to return. Because if you don't know the story, while Petersburg was being sieged, Jubal Early actually launched an assault against Washington. This assault would eventually fail because of the reinforcements that would then arrive from the siege of Petersburg. But Lew Wallace was key in that he was able to slow down Jubal Early's forces long enough, like I said, at the Battle of Monterey, in order for this to happen. Interesting of note too, although never seen in a favorable light ever again, Lew Wallace did actually have a prominent after-war career. If you don't know, Lew Wallace was actually the one who wrote the story Ben-Hur, which of course now has seen movie adaptations. So that's just a little interesting tidbit of note as well. So that's all that. So that was the Battle of Shiloh, everybody. Hopefully you found that entertaining. Like I said, Shiloh is one of my favorite stories of the whole war. Definitely not. I won't say favorite. I don't know if you could. I don't know if saying favorite is a very good way to put it. Most interesting, I guess, of all the battles of the war. Saying favorite is kind of morbid, but yeah, definitely one of the more interesting battles of the war. Now, I haven't really given a book recommendation yet for this, but I will give one now. And one book that I really truly enjoyed. There are a lot of good books about Shiloh out there, but the one that I honestly prefer, and it's interesting because it's not really written by a historian, just as much as somebody like me who has a very strong interest in it. And what I like about this book, I haven't said the title yet, but what I like about this book is it's written mostly about the battle itself. Now, when you go into the Battle of Shiloh, and you read a lot of books about Shiloh, uh, there's a lot of people who spend so much time on the politics leading up to the Battle of Shiloh, and spend little time on the actual battle itself. And this book doesn't do that. This one really focuses in on the battle, and the book is called Our Fathers at Shiloh, a step-by-step account of one of the. Sorry, it's a long title. A step-by-step account of one of the greatest battles of the American Civil War. It's written by Jack Kunkel, and it's actually, if you have Amazon Kindle Unlimited, it's actually free to read. So that's another reason to read it. Although I believe the actual hard copy is not very expensive. Anyway, it's not a very long book. It's only about 300 pages, so it's a very quick read. But like I said, what I think it does better than other books is it really focuses in on the battle itself. So that's my book recommendation for the Battle of Shiloh. Like I said, it's not so much. It's not going to have as much, because like I said, it's written by a person who is more of a has an interest in the war, and someone who was very interested in that battle, and not really a historian. So there's not a lot of like really in-depth looks at things as much as there's a lot of like personal accounts and stuff like that in the book. But it's very interesting. Like I said, I very much recommend it. So let's go ahead and let's look at what's coming in the future. I won't fight another battle this mission or this episode, but we will take a look. It looks like we are fighting Gaines Mill. So the grand battle for this campaign is the Peninsula campaign, and it looks like we are actually going to be fighting the Thomas Jackson's Valley campaign, starting with first Winchester, then Cross Keys, and then the next day was the Battle of Port Republic. Very interesting. Can't wait to start that, but let's go ahead and build our army first. Let me just take a look at what we can bring to the battle, so I know how I want. Oh wow, we can bring 4 different corps to this battle. We need to bring at least 2. That's what that highlight means. So we're going to need to be able to bring a second corps to the battle. So we really need to build up. Now, thankfully, it looks like I didn't actually take too crazy of casualties during that last battle. Like I said, I want to try and keep this my crack unit. So I want to keep them all, maybe not all veterans. Let's go 250 veterans, the rest rookies, to get them back up to 2,000. Let's see, assault course, melee morale stamina, firearms, plus 10 firearms. minus 10 reloading time, but minus 10 accuracy. And then marksman trading takes longer to reload, but more accuracy. I feel like the assault course, because there's no drop in anything. This one has less reloading time but less accuracy. This one has more reloading time but more accuracy. This one at least just brings up everything. So I think I'm gonna go with the assault course. Bloody 8. They took about 600 casualties. So we'll do 300 rookies. The rest veterans. Try and mix and match to try and get them. Again, same with them. Do 250. The rest rookies. Forrest is my new. We get Nathan Forrest. He's my new unit. He has actually all 3, so he's a 3-star unit. He has sawed off to start with. We got a lot of those Colts that last battle. I'd rather have shock infantry, to tell you the truth. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him the Colts. Battle took a lot of casualties. I believe we had him at a 16-gun battery. So what we'll do is we'll give him 4 new guns, which is what we have in the armory, and then 4 veteran guns. Alright, Innocence Brigade, we'll give all rookies to. We'll go ahead and pretty much rookie these forces out. Maybe not fully for Jeb Stewart's cavalry. Siegfried didn't lose any guns.
Yes, sir.
Do some veterans, some rookies
Yes, sir.
for Wheat's Tigers. We'll go all rookies for these forces. Pogue was actually one of my guys, so we'll put Ken Lane in charge, and then put him all the way back up. Stafford, we didn't get any in that battle, but we can buy some more. So let's go ahead and I'll spend the money and try and get them up to a 16-gun battery as well. Nope, 15-gun battery, but that's okay. So there we go, 15-gun battery. And give them the logistics as well. Alright, and that is going to be my first corps. What I'm going to do, you know, there's part of me that,
Yes, sir.
there's part of me that wants to put Jackson in charge of my second corps, but I'll go Johnson. He's a major general. He's probably better to start off with. Maybe if Jackson reaches major general rank, I'll put him in charge instead of Sidney Johnson. So we have trainer, tactics +5 speed, and I feel like, you know, after that last battle where I was running out of supply, I should probably go with ammo. Do artillery, infantry, cavalry. I'm really going infantry heavy, so we'll go infantry. And there we go. So we're now beginning to start our second corps. I'm actually going to bring up supply. In up to 11,000 supply, and we'll go ahead and start building out our second corps. So we can buy, let's go ahead and buy John, oh wait, you know what? What do we have for, okay, so I do like getting the historical generals. So we'll go ahead and get all the historical generals, but I think we can bring in General Hill. So let's go to my first corps. Who do I got in charge? Okay, so yeah. Created new division under Daniel Hill. Let's start bringing in some new infantry. I think for now, I think I want to give him some cheap weapons for now. So I don't know how much I'm going to use this corps at the moment. Because I don't really have, well, I got a lot of Springfields for free. So let's go ahead and just go ahead and build a lot of these new corps with these free guns that we have. Actually, let's not put these guys in charge. Let's go colonels.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll finish off. Oh, you know what we should do? Take a look at our career points. And what is the next level? So this one will bring us up to 5 brigades. So I might want to go ahead and do a. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a new brigade. And we'll keep going with politics. So before I go any further, some of these newly created units I'm going to go ahead and put in here. I'm actually going to move this cavalry unit to this corps. So we'll go ahead and create these guys. So now I have one full corps with my new 5th brigade I can bring in. And so let's go ahead and now start building this one out again. So 2,000. So that was the last of our free rifles. Well, let's go to the barracks. No, armory. And see what we can do. That's right, we still gotta buy. So let's go ahead and buy these. I can always build out my corps after the battle. After the next 3 battles, I mean. We bought those. Let's get rid of these sharps. I'm not building that kind of. Get rid of these. And get rid of these. Alright. These last 3 Fayettevilles. Okay, so bought all those. Still have 6,000. Let's see how many reboard. Actually, can we buy? No, we can't buy 500 Lorenz. So, how many reboard farmer muskets can we buy? Not a lot. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it. So I started building out this 2nd corps. And I have a full 1st corps. What can I bring to Winchester? Because that's the first of the battles. Oh, I can only bring 8 brigades anyway. That's not a whole lot. Okay, well, at least I know. Alright, so that's all I can do for now. I still have 11,000 infantry that I could use. I just don't have the money right now to be able to spend that much. I think what I'm going to have to start doing is maybe start bringing in some more recruits. I think I'm spending a little too much money on veteran units, so I may have to start going more rookie units than veteran units. I think that's what we're going to do. Alright, well, that's going to be it for this episode. We concluded Shiloh, so we're going to go ahead and start preparing for the Valley campaign. So, thank you all for watching. Hopefully you'll continue watching, but for now, this is General History, and I'm signing off. Thanks. Bye-bye.